Welcome in everybody to the dojo today. We got RubiksMoose with us, and we'll be doing some coaching. We also have Koi Pebble cameo. Hi, Koi Pebble. We'll be doing some coaching today. We are going to be doing, as best I can, we're going to be using the inadequance coaching method because I think that is the fairest to our to Rubiks's competitors, that I not be giving him live help during the games, and also I think it helps him learn a little more from the games by internalizing the lessons and trying to apply them instead of just listening for what I say. We talked a little bit before stream, specifically looking at opportunities to try to leverage switch advantage versus shield or energy advantages. So like when we should be not letting our opponents farm us down versus when we should be trying to be willing to give something up so we can guarantee switch. So go ahead and queue up for that first game. And
all right.
So I get to discuss during the game with chat what I think's going on. This is a fairly neutral lead, a little bit good for us. Their bait moves pretty heavily resisted, and we exert more fast move pressure. Also, both of our back mons not very good against that one. A nice catch by our opponent. Let's see what he switches to here. So our opponent switched in. They're switch locked, so we'll probably be talking about that afterwards. This is a pretty good choice. Nothing here one-shots us. See if he shields. No shield. Okay. Now we do have to watch out for a dynamic punch. We have Leaf Blade for this. The Roserade, he's currently running Weather Ball and Sludge Bomb, so it kind of makes sense that he wouldn't swap that into this. The Ice Punches would be super effective. And he doesn't really have a charge move to throw at this. If we were counting the mud shots, we probably could have farmed a couple more counters there because we win CMP. There we go. I like that. Because we don't want to invest that other shield here. Their lead has a pretty big advantage on Sir Fetch, but we do have Brave Bird, so I'd like to see him probably try to go up and go for a Brave Bird here. Opponent throws right away. Definitely don't need to invest any shield here. Good call. Well, would have been kind of nice to get that Leaf Blade off, but it's not a huge loss. Have we been counting hexes? Says no shield. It is the Shadow Ball, though. That's going to hurt. 2, 3. I like that farm. He knows that his opponent has to throw at least 4 to get to another move. And now this is definitely a situation where he probably needs to swap out here to not get farmed down. Oh, does he get it? No, not quite. Icy Wind or Shadow Ball are both really going to hurt. Our opponent has a pretty big incentive to just go for the Icy Wind. They're going to get to another one here because that farm down. So ideally here we would throw 4 more because our opponent's on 0 energy. Opponent swaps, okay. Their own Roserade. They're going to get to they're going to get to 1, I think, right about here before we get to 2. With the Icy, let's see. Yeah, 2's not quite going to be enough. Well, we got to see a Roserade mirror. Alright, we're going to pull him back in now. Alright, RubiksMoose. How'd you feel about that game?
I think it was a rough lead.
Okay.
But I didn't think I made any silly errors that time that I noticed. So
yeah. So why do you think that the Empoleon into Drifblim's a rough lead?
I guess it just doesn't. It does a lot of neutral, but that Shadow Ball is still a big threat.
Sure. Let me look up real quick. I'm pretty sure Empoleon wins CMP in that matchup, and you get to the Hydro Cannon the same time. It's 5 for both the Shadow Ball and for the Hydro Cannon. So that should be a pretty decent matchup for you, unless like they bait you the first time.
Okay, yeah.
Which is probably like
Oh,
that's
okay.
they swapped out, right? Because they
did, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, if it's a let's make this sucker nice and XL on their side. Yeah, even if it's like a 41 best buddy 43. Yeah, you should pretty much always win CMP that matchup. So that's an okay matchup for you to stay in.
Oh, okay.
Why? My next question would be when they swapped out, you you didn't swap out right away. I was curious.
Yeah, that is something I probably was not a conscious choice. I was thinking about what to do.
Okay, that's fair. That happens to us all sometimes. You know, especially in this range where you're seeing a lot of different stuff. I don't know how many times people swap to Poliwrath into you, so like it makes sense. There's a little thinking there. Especially, yeah. So I do like the choice that you swapped in there. I like the Surfetch swap in. I felt that was a better swap in than bringing the Rose Raid in because you have the Leaf Blade, and the Ice Punches don't threaten you as much. So I think you made the right choice. If we'd swapped in a little faster, then we get to pressure him a little heavier because the Leaf Blade is more threatening to him than the Ice Punch is to us. So we could no shield the first one. That was a good call. But then we could get to the second Leaf Blade before he gets to the second Ice Punch. So we could potentially get more of an advantage there, and our Surfetch should be a little healthier. And then at the end of the game, your Empoleon, you threw a charge move at the Driftblim, he shielded it, and your Empoleon was at pretty low HP. And I was curious why you didn't swap out there. You kind of let him farm you down.
That would be because I didn't notice that I had my switch clock, I guess.
Okay. All right. So we'll just try to keep an eye on that this next game. You know, they switch locked themselves first, so we had switch advantage. You made the right choice on what to bring in there, but we were a little slow on it, so we can work on that. And then in that later game situation, when we throw a charge move and we're pretty low HP, we want to at least check and see if we can swap out there.
Perfect.
Sound good? All right. Let's jump into the next one.
All right.
All right, chat. We got an Empoleon to Swampert. This is a pretty neutral lead. Can go bad if they bait us, or if we no shield an Earthquake. There it goes. It's being a little choppy there, but it's better. Let's see what our opponent decides to do. They no shield it. So I think I'd probably shield this and go for a farm down. The risk of them earthquaking and blowing us out's pretty bad. There we go. Like that call. He should be able to get to another earthquake here, so we don't have to shield this. Good read. We get the farm down. We got moves loaded. Well, that's tough. That's not good for our back line. The confusion is going to be real gnarly for us. Maybe we can get to another move here. That'd be pretty huge. Oh, beautiful. But he's now at like 6 confusions. So we probably want to bring in the Roserade. Oh my goodness, is that for real bad hand? Probably want to bring in the Roserade here, because Weatherball Fire probably does enough damage. And that doesn't, and we resist his charge moves then? He brings in the Surfetched. Our opponent has 2 moves. So if we shield here, okay, no shield. Can we get to a move before he confusions us down? 1, 2. Okay, they throw again. I think if we brought in the Roserade, we'd be in a better position here because we would have no shielded. The confusions would still hurt, but these Leaf Blades wouldn't be doing nearly as much damage because we double resist them. So we probably need to no shield this. As much as we want to save the HP, it's the confusions doing the damage, not the Leaf Blades. Oh, you can't farm this. Oh, good. Okay. Really good that we didn't let another confusion land there. We still have potential good matchups against things in the back. That's not really one of them. think a Sludge Bomb's going to one-shot. Probably puts it about 20%, 25, 30%. It's more than Venusaur, right? It's got more attack weighted than Venusaur. Oh, close to, that's like 35%. All right, we'll bring Rubik's back in. All right, how do you feel about that game?
Not sure about that Surfetch swap.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because the Surfetch takes neutral damage from the Gallade's charge moves, it meant that you like felt like you had to shield there. And both of your mons, like you were in kind of an awkward spot just based off the team comps. Like both of their back mons were things neither of your back mons wanted to see. So that was pretty rough. And we probably could have, like thinking about this is a little more advanced. This isn't necessarily what we're talking about earlier, but there leads a Swampert, right? What is Swampert's like biggest weakness?
Sure, grass.
Grass, right? So what do they have in the back? They have two things that cover grasses. Gallade a little more loosely, but the most common grass is Venusaur, and so Gallade is a Venusaur answer, and so is the Charizard. So going forward, if we see another like Swampert lead, if we can get to that Hydro Cannon first and throw it like we did, that was really good. I like that. We probably want to swap out after that.
Yeah, I was wondering. I definitely thought about it, but
yeah. Well, it's your head's in the right place then. Like that's probably what we want to do when we see that kind of lead, so we can try to bait out one of those, answers they have to a grass type, and then our Empoleon can kill it and maybe get an advantage to help clear the rest of the way. But yeah, on the switch there, I do think bringing Roserade would have been a little better, but we were kind of in a tough spot either way. The other thing about Roserade is Roserade's going to get to a charge move in 9 turns, where the Surfetch takes 10 turns. And so we're going to take a little less confusion damage and be able to get to our move faster to because the Gallade was at low health, and we just needed to throw a move to kill it. And being able to get to that move faster with the Roserade would have been an advantage as well.
And that was actually, I must have had that reversed in my head. So that's one of the reasons I thought that Surfetch would get to it sooner, but
I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure
No, I trust you on that.
No, but I like checking just so that we're all on the same page. I do get the numbers mixed up in my head a little bit sometimes, but I'm pretty sure if I give that Leaf Blade and this Weather Ball Fire, put the browser properties, throw the browser up on stream for chat, battle this battle. I put these up here. That was some other battle, but I just need this one. Yeah, we get to that, the Weather Ball Fire in 3 Bullet Seeds. So that's 9 turns, and it's 10 turns to get to the Leaf Blade. So I did have those numbers right. Takes 5 counters versus 3 Bullet Seeds. So we get there a little faster, and we could afford to tank 2 Leaf Blades from the Gallade without using a shield. So and at that point they were shields down, and so that gives us an opportunity where Roserade's big move is Sludge Bomb, which is pretty threatening, but it's not as threatening as Brave Bird. So if we're in that situation, the other advantage we have of bringing the Roserade in is that our Surfetch is actually the better closer when our opponent doesn't have shields. Go ahead and jump to the next one.
All right.
Empoleon into Escavalier. We definitely need to get out. There we go. Missed the click the first time. That happens to all of us. Those things are not easy to click on. Pulled out a Gallade. We want to throw a Brave Bird here because we're losing this matchup anyways. Ooh. All right, I guess you could shield once here. But we're kind of putting ourselves in an awkward spot. It didn't take the... I think we could have gotten to this Brave Bird. All right, so now we're coming in. We're farming down. If he throws 4 confusions, we need to shield. 2... Does he shield this? Good, no shield. Was counting. We just want to farm down. 1, 2... Oh, I don't think we can quite farm down. He makes the read there that we're not going to be able to farm down. Throws this move. their lead is weak to fire. They probably have a water type in the back. So we probably want to swap out here. Be clicking to swap out. Our switch timer's up. We don't want to get countered down. There we go. Like that read. Shielding here is kind of high risk because we don't know what else they have in the back. Hit rate got a little weird there for a second. We're still okay. Man, what is this team? His lead is not that good against Swampert, and they have a Charizard in the back. Lead's also weak to fire, and they have a Charizard and like Talonflame like sweeps this whole team. 1, 2, throw the Sludge Bomb. We win CMP. Appreciate the follow. He's gonna farm us down in the Blast Burn. Yeah, that's rough. One of the other things we had talked about before stream was considering if Dazzling Gleam or Sludge Bomb would be more effective. It definitely looks like Sludge Bomb's the way to go. There are a lot of fire types we're throwing stuff at. Oh, the Blast Burn. Let's jump Rubik's back in here. Ooh, another tough matchup.
Yeah, I'm wondering if my team comp is just working against me here.
I mean, it is 3 games. It's hard to make a big sweeping thing off 3 games. But the comps have felt kind of rough. I felt like we had play in a couple of those earlier ones. We just didn't make perfectly optimal decisions, which nobody makes them all the time. That's not a knock or a demand. In this game, I felt like your switches were on point. You switched in a timely way and into the right things. That was good. So you did a good job of that. It felt like you got to the Brave Bird before they got to a move, but like you didn't click on it right away. And then also you actually tried to click the Leaf Blade. And I was curious what your thinking was there.
Thinking is probably a strong word for what that decision was.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it was just, I don't know what it was. I knew as soon as I was going for the Leaf Blade that it was wrong, and thankfully it didn't go through.
Yeah. But in that situation, as we talked about before, like we want to switch to the Sirfetch'd, and we want to like get to that Brave Bird and throw it as soon as we can, because our goal is to get a shield and lose the matchup. And because we had to shield first, we went back to even shields, and so we had no advantage going into the next matchup. So,
okay, yep.
Whenever we're in a situation where we can Brave Bird something for neutral damage, which will usually be the case on something that swaps into a Sirfetch'd, like Brave Bird's resisted by like Steel and Rock. They're not swapping those into your Sirfetch'd. So
right.
We almost always want to be just like mashing that Brave Bird on that switch and trying to get that off before they can throw something. And that'll put us in a better spot. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next one.
All right.
All right, we got Napoleon into Swampert. All right, so we'll see if we can execute on the plan this time where we throw the Hydro and then swap out. And we lost like 1 turn there. I guess we the Hydro right before we get to Earthquake. That 1 turn we lost is a little bit rough. Just a Hydro, good call. And we want to throw this Hydro and then get out. Because they're likely to have counters to what we have in the back, and so we need to bring one of those in. There we go. We need to throw a move. Oh, he's baiting. That's a bold move. We're already up a shield. I would kind of prefer we just throw a Sludge Bomb here. Okay, now we're throwing the Sludge Bomb. But maybe the one, it's 1 and 1 to kill anyways. I still prefer landing the big move first in those cases. Oh, click the Weather Ball. Oh, we overtapped. I would bring in Sirfetch'd here, honestly. Oh, to counter that down and get an energy lead. But this is okay too. Okay. They probably could have baited and then thrown the Blast Burn based off that farm node. This is going to work too. I don't think they have the EQ here, but even if they did, we should be able to counter down with 1 shield from there. There's a Hydro. Yeah, I like that switch out. You don't want to get farmed down. This is a tough call right here. Shielding or no shielding, this is a tough call. I could go either way on this one. Decides to shield the Hydro Cannon. See if we get to farm down. 1, 2... Opponent just threw. I don't know if we're not counting that as well, or if he expects to get a shield here. We do get the shield there. Okay. He was counting better than I was. Respect. Respect that. And, ooh. Leaf blade. Okay. Just didn't want to see him get farmed down there, but waited till the last moment. Clutch Leaf Blade. Ice Punch is double resisted. Double resisted Ice Punch. Or did our opponent get to a Bulldoze there? Double resist Ice Punch. Not enough. Oh, but the 2-turn move goes through first. Where'd you go? There. Wait, did I not... Did I fail to mute you that time? Wait, you're there. There you are. There. No, you're muted. Okay. Mute. There we go. We're back.
All right.
I don't know if I did that right that time, honestly. But I like... how did you feel about that one?
Much better. I think, once again, I got a little bit unlucky with the composition of the opposing team. But
did you realize you got to another Weather Ball against the Charizard?
I didn't.
Okay.
I saw it just like a split second too late.
Okay.
I thought I was going to go down before the Weather Ball was reached, so I wasn't keeping too close an eye on it.
Okay. But we did get there, and then we tried to go 1 bullet seed past and got farmed down. If we'd been able to throw that Weather Ball, that Charizard then has to shield to save that energy, and then we're up 2 shields, which would have been huge. Or they let their Charizard go down, and then we have Switch, and we get to bring our half-health Empoleon into the probably the Lowland Sandslash, or we get to line up our Sirfetch'd on their Swampert. So that definitely was a kind of a turning point in that game. I would consider it winnable based off that. But I do think most of your decisions in that game were pretty good and clean. It was a tough composition, and then that one. I mean, sometimes it's just one play, right? Can make the difference in a game. And this time we just needed to throw that Weather Ball. We have been on a rough stretch here with this team. I feel like we're learning some things, but also it has been four tough games in a row. So if you wanted to change up the comp, I'm okay with that. Or if you want to try to write it out and see if we can find some wins by making just a couple adjustments, we could do that too. Totally okay either way.
Let's finish out the set, and then if it's a loss, then I'll probably switch up.
Okay, sounds good.
Go to clear out everything.
That is another tough lead for us. Yep, switches out. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is going to be another tough one. Not that Sirfetch'd would have been much better here. Oh, I don't think you lived that. Wait your switch timer down? Okay, comes in with the Roserade. It's a good call. Still a lot of time left on our switch timer. We need to burn clock here. Throw moves. Throw moves. There we go. If we get shields here, that's also possible out for us because we do have Drill Peck. Throw that weather. Throw them all. Okay. This time we got to the Sludge Bomb, but we're throwing the Weather Ball. We still have enough health that if we can swap out here, we can get to a move against that Venusaur. The Vine Whips don't pressure us very much. Nope, could not get there. Yeah. Just tanks the Blast Burn. Oof. Opponent's going to get to another one. And you shield this one. I don't think there's anywhere where we get to 2 drill pecks to kill the Venusaur, and there's still a 3rd Mon in the back. So we're in a tough spot. Venusaur comes in. That's true. We could have tried to go for 1 shield in the lead. That's a good consideration. It's another tough one. Yeah, that was another tough one. Surfetched.
Yeah.
Surfetched really, like, Venusaur is definitely something that core breaks the Empoleon and the Surfetched. And if we'd swapped our Roserade in, we saw obviously they had a Charizard behind it as well. So I don't know that we had much play in that one. There was some consideration for like trying to stay in and shielding the first and throwing a Drill Peck and then swapping out, but I don't know that gains us that much either. And we'd have to be switching to the Roserade there. Doing that does prevent them from being able to like farm you all the way down with their Charizard without shielding. But there's still a 3rd Mon, and that doesn't kill the Venusaur. But we are like, given that our Mons are pretty glassy, but they get to their charge moves fast, like creating a lower shield situation is often favorable for us. But it doesn't feel like Empoleon leads finding much to work with today. Based off
I was kind of hoping to get to that Brave Bird.
Yeah.
So at least I could get a shield.
Yeah.
But the Shadow really messed with me.
Yeah, the Shadow's a lot of damage. In that situation, if once we switch in and they don't switch out, it might be in our best interest to like go up to the Brave Bird, bait once with Leaf Blade, and then try to get to another one. But I think the Venusaur still will outpace us to the second one. They have to throw 6 Vine Whips, then 5, I think, for the second one. So it's that's 6 and then 5. And if we threw 6 and 5, I think Brave Bird is 8 and then 5 for the Leaf Blade. Let me double check that. That's a Surfetched. Each counter is 7, and Brave Bird is 55. So you have to go to 49, 56, 8. So what are you thinking based off seeing? We saw some Venusaur lead. We saw a Scavalier. We didn't a couple Swamperts.
A Gallade lead would probably be too bad.
I mean, if you want to run with the Roserade does beat the Escavalier, the Venusaur, and plays pretty well against the Swamperts. So if we still wanted to use Roserade, we could try that in the lead. And then our big weakness there is Charizard or Gallade. And so we'd want 2 things behind it that have play against Charizard or Gallade. Alolan Muck is a pretty good safe swap that has play against both of those.
All right.
Our lead is strong against fighting. It resists counter. So we can afford to have that. There's and our lead's good against like Swampert and potentially other ground types. I don't know how many XLG Fisks you see. That would be kind of rough, but definitely playable.
Thankfully, it's not too many at this level, at this rank, I think.
Yeah. And then Backmon. I mean, we probably the best cover for our lead's weaknesses is probably Swampert. I mean, just kind of like any grass type, like fire types are a problem. It's nice to have a water type in the back. It fits with what our team's doing because none of our team is exerting a lot of fast move pressure. I'm okay with EQ or Sludge Wave. In this team, our lead strong against fairies. Our Midmon also has a poison coverage move, so we probably want the Earthquake to help us a little more in some of the steel or other poison type matchups.
So Rose, Muck, Swamp.
Let's try that. Our team's going to struggle a little bit in situations where we put something at low health but don't kill it because nothing here does much fast move damage. But they all throw very efficient charge moves, and the Swampert and Alolan Muck are definitely a little bulkier than our Sirfetch'd and Empoleon were. So in this team, our bad lead is seeing fire types or Gallade. Gallade's also kind of a problem. Well, if we see a Gallade lead, it's kind of bad for Swampert 2. We want to create a low shield situation. In low shield, Swampert can win, so we're probably still safe swapping Amok either way, and trying to get a shield advantage.
Now, hopefully, all I have to do for this one is avoid some stupid swap mistakes due to party unfamiliarity. But that's just part of switching it up.
So generally, our plan is if it's a lead we don't want to stay in, we're going to Amok. Amok is our safe swap.
Safe swap. Got it.
And then we're depending on what it is, well, we're probably pushing pretty hard to try to win switch. So like willing to this isn't so last game we were playing a team where we safe swap Sirfetch'd and our goal was to throw a Brave Bird and try to get shield advantage. With this team, we're probably more interested in shielding the Muck a little bit and trying to win swap because our other two Mons are very different, right? Our Roserade and our Swampert do very different things. And if we were in a bad lead, that means the Swampert probably does really well there. So we try to shield our Amok a little bit and win switch.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I think we can do it.
That's a good lead for us. They're staying in. That's clearly a Hydro Cannon. Excellent no shield. Signail, I have not hit Legend. Yesterday was a very tough day in the dojo. I lost 200 points. Throw a move. Don't let it confuse you down. Oh my goodness. I'm glad he can't hear me when I say that. I should be a little more patient with my students, but sometimes I'm really tempted to go over the top a little bit. That's true. It's not a great lead, but it's a pretty good lead. So we probably could have swapped out there and saved some health. It didn't look like there was any actual lag in the game. There might be a little lag in his connection to me, but haven't noticed opponents getting any extra fast moves or anything like that. I like his choice to just go for this, not give the opponent a chance to throw the close combat, because we do not want to deal with that. And then this matchup, we probably want to shield this. We're going to get to another Dark Pulse before he gets to another move. Dragonite, you say? So we definitely were in a better position if we immediately swapped out. They swap in Gallade, we swap in the Amok. We're definitely in a better position this game because we still have our Roserade, which actually has play against the Dragonite, especially if we're up shields after the middle matchup. Or we can create a farm down. Our Roserade doesn't have health to farm down their Swampert and throw multiple Sludge Bombs at this. This matchup isn't terrible. The Hydro Cannons do add up. But we are seeing kind of the issue where we keep leaving Mons like in the red, and the other thing struggles to finish them off. I think the play here is you no-shield this because it's probably a Dragon Claw, and maybe go for a farm down. Oh, nope, they swap out immediately. All right, well, we're shielding this one. I don't think Dark Pulse quite kills a Swampert from here. But if we can get this low enough that we can farm it down with like 2 or 3. Because the Swampert's at 2 right now, it needs probably like 2 more. Okay, we got all the bubbles, that's good. Oh, I think he's going to get to the Hydro, right? No! If we get that next Snarl, if we got one more Snarl there, we kill that, I think we outpace the Dragonite. So that was a very close game. It was a very close game. bring RubiksMoose back in. Welcome back, RubiksMoose.
Hello.
Hello. Thoughts on that game? What do you think you could have done a little cleaner or better to try to win that game?
I think I lost it when I swapped from Muck to Swampert.
Okay.
Maybe. Maybe the play was keeping it in longer. Or Muck in longer against Swampert.
That might have helped, although we saw there at the end, even the Dark Pulse wasn't quite enough to kill it. And I think your instinct that like trying to get to one Hydro Cannon would have killed it. We did give up Swap, and we were kind of punished for it. The Dragonite is a decent counter to our Swampert. I think we ended up being about one turn off, like one move off there. If we get one more Snarl on the Swampert at the end there, then you get to a move against the Dragonite. It doesn't have shields. I think you win. My biggest question was at the beginning of the game, we talked about how Gallade was like something we didn't want to see against our Roserade. And our opponent swapped from a Swampert into a Gallade, and we just essentially let it confusion us down. Like we threw some moves, but we pretty much just let it confusion us down. And I think our Roserade's a little more valuable, especially knowing they had a Swampert. And so once they swapped the Gallade into us, probably in our best interest to, I mean, maybe it's throw one move and then swap if we wanted to, but generally we want to try to get to Amok as fast as we can, where we're taking resisted confusion damage, we resist the Leaf Blades, and he has to throw a close combat for neutral damage to really threaten us, and then saving the Roserade for later, because the Roserade has, you know, a decent matchup with the Dragonite. Like, we pace pretty similar to it, and the Sludge Bombs are pretty threatening. So I think saving our Roserade from that bad matchup, because they gave up switch advantage, so we're allowed to bring in whatever we want against his Gallade. I think if we make that swap into the Amok a little faster, we're in a better position for the rest of the game.
That sounds... Yep. I think what fooled me was I had such a big energy advantage that I thought I could... I knew Gallade was pretty glassy, so I thought maybe I could take it out.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable. And if you're in that position and you have that energy advantage, like I'm okay. Like a lot of times it helps if you can save all your energy and swap out. But sometimes like Gallade's pretty glassy. If you just immediately threw one move at it and see if they decide to shield it or not, and once you see that they shield it, like you don't want to stay in there. They're going to do a lot of confusion damage to you.
Yep, that's a good point. Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one.
All right.
Okay, we got another Swampert lead. So we want to go to Sludge Bomb. They swap out. What's our hard counter for this? Okay, we threw one. And then we're going... When our opponents are giving us switch advantage, we're not taking enough advantage of it. How do we want to go Swampert here? We could also go to our Amok because it resists all the moves. If he gets this off and then goes Amok, that'd be pretty solid. Now that the opponent has a big energy lead. Sludge Wave probably kills from here. Dark Pulse probably puts us close to the red. He's pretty greedy with his farming. We have two moves ready. If he'd been tapping on the Weather Ball there, the first one, the Muck didn't have the energy and couldn't throw right away. If we'd been tapping on this Weather Ball, we would have forced a CMP, and we would have won it. And so our opponent would have had to shield before us to throw that move, which would have been a little better. Okay, at this point, I don't know about bringing the Amok. I think if he brings in the Swampert here, he can actually farm down. This is clearly a Hydro. Using a no shield. Okay, now he's in a position where he kind of has to shield this one. You need to throw right away here. Why are overfarming all the time. Well, we will talk about that after the game. There's just not a lot of reason to always be going to 2 moves. It's putting us in unnecessarily risky situations. Their Amok comes back in. Dark Pulse almost KOs from here. I don't think it quite KOs, but might put us in farm down range. No, not quite farm down range. Go for the Sludge Wave. Get it? Whoa, why are we... Okay, we'll talk about that too. Sludge Wave, definitely more DPE in this situation. Both moves are neutral. But now we're in a tough spot. Because he's going to outpace us now. Throw this Frenzy Plant and one-shot us. Does our Roserade still have energy for a Weather Ball Fire? I think we threw them all before we swapped. But I'd be clicking on that and mashing left side. Nope, we don't have it. So we're just not using our... Go easy on him, chat. All right, jump back in. All right, how do you feel about that game?
I think that my mistake was in the Roserade.
Okay.
They swapped into Muck, which wasn't a great Roserade counter, so I should
Agreed.
have known that their line was going to be pretty weak to Roserade.
Uh-huh.
So
That's
I should have worked to preserve it either by switching it out or by throwing that second shield in there.
Yes.
If I had kept it out.
I'm curious that I totally agree with that. And that kind of addresses your uncertainty around like switching it out in that case. I was also curious, like you were very consistently farming up to like 2.5 weather balls before you'd throw one. And I was curious why you're playing it that way.
I don't know.
Okay.
Might just be a pattern I learned from someone I usually play with.
Okay.
Which I don't know.
Isn't necessarily bad, but in those situations where you have the energy to throw a move that will be lethal, you want to be throwing the move right away. Unless you're very confident in your counting. And you know exactly how much you can farm before their next one. Because in that game, we got up to 2 fire weather balls. We threw one. They were in range where another fireball weather ball would have killed them. And we didn't tap on it. And then they were able to throw that Dark Pulse. That then we no-shielded it and it put us low. But they put us in a situation where like we were having to decide if we wanted to shield or not before we put them in that position.
Yeah.
And if we throw that fire weather ball, they either have to shield their Muck, in which case we know that we're probably pretty safe to shield our Roserade, or they let their Muck go, they lose that energy. We're still on even shields, we still have our Roserade.
Okay. That makes sense, yep.
So just looking for those opportunities where we have lethal to like make our opponent make that choice. There were a couple other like switch related things in there. Once you stayed in, so like my analysis is like happening in real time, right? So as soon as they brought in their Muck, our Swampert is a really hard counter for their Muck. So I'm thinking as soon as they swap in their Muck, we should be counter swapping into our Swampert. As you stayed in and started farming up energy, once they have a lot of energy on their Muck, our Muck resists all their Muck's charge moves. So if we go to our Muck at that point, any energy he throws is not doing as much, and our Roserade could have swapped out and saved a bunch of energy for the other matchups, because as you identified, our Roserade probably has pretty good matchups against their team, if that was their best swap.
Yeah, I actually tapped the switch. I was trying to catch there.
Okay.
But I was one turn off.
That happens. That happens.
That I ate the move. And
I like the thought there to stay in with the Roserade until they throw a move and then try to catch it. I think that's pretty good, especially if you're trying to catch it on your Muck where it's resisted damage. But just we want to be mindful when our opponent swaps. We need to be making a decision as soon as possible based off the choice they made. They made a choice. we're now in a position where we have an advantage. Our opponent's locked in for a minute. We want to make a choice as soon as possible to gain more from that advantage. So when they swap to that Muck, we can swap to we want to swap to our Swampert as soon as possible. Just like if they swapped in a Charizard, right? The sooner we can get to our Swampert, the better. So when they make a swap, we want to try to counter swap as soon as possible. I think will generally help us. Like there's nuance to it. I don't want to deny that, but generally speaking, right now, I think it'll help make your play a little crisper and get you more wins if when they swap, we try to counter swap as soon as possible.
Perfect. I like it.
Okay. Jump into the next one. Roserade into Swampert. So we have another Swampert lead. So we expect them to switch out, and we'll see how we can capitalize off what they switch into. This is a pretty neutral matchup, so store one move, and then switches out. This is a pretty neutral matchup as well. I like that he comes into this here because our Swampert has a better matchup with his Swampert than our Muck does. So it makes sense to bring the Mon that has the worst matchup with their lead in here. I believe it's 1 Dark Pulse, 1 Sludge Wave to kill, so we should probably be going for a Sludge Wave now. To try to create a situation where our opponent has to make the choice first. 3. Okay, we're going straight Dark Pulse. So we'll probably have a little chat after the game about efficiency on Muck's moves. And we did talk about throwing moves earlier, and he is putting that into practice. Not exactly the way maybe I had intended, so need to be a little more specific. If we go for a Sludge Wave, their opponent has to shield or they die. We're making that choice first. Shield here. Now we're down a shield, but we're probably getting swap. Our opponent switches. Our switch timer's up, but we don't switch. Oh, we lose just before we get to the Sludge Bomb. Swampert is our better choice here, I think. It's a little faster. The mud shots are neutral. Swampert's a little bulkier, so it can afford to tank mud bombs better, and it resists the sludge bombs. Opponent goes for sludge bomb anyways. He still does have a low health Snorlax, shield advantage, and his own Swampert. So we're definitely in a tricky spot here. Hopefully we get to this next Hydro Cannon first and throw it right away. They win CMP. I don't think the Mud Bomb quite kills from here. Yeah, it's the same play I'd make. High risk, but works out. And then we don't want to get farmed down, so our switch timer, I believe, is back up, and we want to be mashing to get out of here. Mash, mash, mash that right side. We don't... There we go. I like it. Okay, can we farm this down? I think we have to farm this down to win. Oh, that's unfortunate. But I think one Body Slam... Okay, we shield this one. The question is, does 2 Sludge Bombs kill a Swampert? We have to kill a Swampert with 2 Sludge Bombs? Game's still moving. Opponent deciding what to come in with here. There's 1 Sludge Bomb. Didn't get the Mud Shot through. Feels good. We get 2 Sludge Bombs, probably like 3. Well, that's not going to be enough. Yeah, we're in trouble. Maybe it's 2 Sludge Bombs plus the Weather Ball Fire? Weather Ball Fire's not going to do much either in this matchup. I don't think we can farm down here. 2. Okay, I like that choice. We win CMP. I'm pretty sure we got a Weather Ball Fire happening. Map Beer, it might be in our advantage. Given the number of Swamperts we're seeing, that might be a good call. 2, 3, Sludge Bomb. Oh, we overtap by 1. I think this Mud Bomb probably kills us. It's neutral damage. We're really glassy. Yep, takes us out. We'll look up how much Weather Ball Fire did. There. Welcome back, RubiksMoose. I'm looking up real quick how much Weather Ball Fire does against that Toxicroak, because I'm curious if we had some room there to get a kill. Weather Ball Fire does 37%. So I think
it would have KO'd.
Yeah, and let's just for the record, let me look up what Sludge Bomb does as well. This is against Toxicroak. Weather Ball Fire is 62 damage. They do the exact same damage, actually. Sludge Bomb and Weather Ball Fire do the exact same damage to Toxicroak. They're both that same 62 damage, 37.5%. So I don't know that it was at 37.5%, but it was close. It was in the yellow. It was going down a little bit. There's an airplane going by over on my side. Apologize for that, chat. A little loud. I think that most of that game was played a little better. There was some consideration from chat, given the number of Swamperts specifically that we're seeing, that we might want. I'm just not sure that adding Grass Knot to it actually helps us. I liked how much you farmed on that Swampert before you threw the Weather Ball to kill it. Like, it seemed like you counted that out pretty well and threw right before he get to a move. I liked the attempted farm down on the Snorlax, although it didn't work out for us that well. We had to spend the shield there.
No, it did. I thought it would go down a little bit faster.
Yeah, but I agree that a winning play there is if we can get that farm down. It was just unfortunate that we came up, I think it was literally one Bullet Seed short of getting the farm down there. I would have gone for that farm down as well. And then we came out with the 2 Sludge Bombs and just wasn't enough. Did you have any other thoughts on that one?
No, I don't think so. I was fairly happy with how I played it, if not the results.
Yeah, I mean, the results have not been good today, but I like to think that we're learning. Yesterday, I also had bad results, and I like to think that I learned some things and that I'll do better in the future because of it, and hopefully that carries here as well. I do think the Rose Raid lead's been better for us. Definitely agree with that. Oh yeah, muck damage efficiency. So in in the neutral matchups, like that Snorlax matchup, we probably want to be going up to Sludge Wave, and I don't mind in that kind of matchup if you go up to Sludge Wave and throw a Dark Pulse first and see if they're going to shield. But Sludge Wave is more damage, and when the Snorlax is at about half health, I think it's worth it to try to go for the Sludge Wave because it might be lethal. Where you just went straight Dark Pulse, and didn't even go up to the Sludge Wave. And I think that cued our opponent that he was pretty safe to no-shield that second one, and then he was on low HP. Whereas if you go up to the Sludge Wave and throw the Sludge Wave, I think you get the kill there or force a shield.
Okay. So that makes sense.
So in those neutral matchups, and also I guess, I think in an earlier game when you were in with your A-Muck against their A-Muck, you threw a Dark Pulse. In all the neutral situations, we want to be throwing Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave there. It's more damage efficient. Yeah, Dark Pulse is like a pretty mediocre move, and Sludge Wave, it's one of those moves that's a little more expensive, and so you get a little more efficiency out of it as well. It's just a little more DPE. So I know I talked to you about like throwing the charge moves like sooner, but kind of balancing that with like if we're not under threat for lethal, we want to at least go up to the higher one. So that it's at least like a bluff. Like maybe they shield the first one if we went to 5 Snarls. And then on the second one, actually going for the bigger move either kills them or gets the shield. And that's the position we'd want to be in.
Yes, that makes sense.
Cool. All right, let's jump into another one. Okay. Wow, nope. Was that a no countdown? 3, 4... So we went up to the big move and we're throwing the small one. I'm okay with that play. I don't mind the bait on the first one. See what our opponent wants to do. They shield, so that worked out really well for us. 5. They're not purified. 6. That's a desync CMP our opponent threw in the middle of our animation. This could be a Dragon Pulse, just a Thunder Punch. We don't mind that. Mash the Sludge Bomb. I like it. Sludge Bomb does a lot of damage to Ampharos. We're resisting all its moves. He could throw another double shields it. This is totally fine. We don't have to shield again. This next Thunder Punch isn't going to KO. We decided to shield anyway. That's fine. Although I think now that... Oh, and we swapped to A-Muck. They swapped to Dragon. That was a double blind swap. Our opponent doesn't have shields. He's going for the small move here, but I think this is okay because I'm pretty sure in this Dragonite matchup it's 2 Dark Pulses to kill. You don't need the Sludge Wave. It's certainly not 1 Sludge Wave, right? So there's not much sense in... Whoa, That's Dragon Tail, Dragonite. We're lagging really hard. Opponent also potentially lagging. Not much our student can do in this situation. We can see him tapping. The enemy was animating, but is no longer animating. This is tough, folks. Yeah. Our HP only went down a little bit, but I've got it. Nope, we're dead. That is that is unfortunate. Hopefully our student is keeping his cool. This game isn't over yet. Oh, it's over now. As soon as that switch menu goes away, you know it brought in one of his other Mons, and his other Mon is now getting Dragon Tailed down. So decisions in this game up to this point, we're going to focus on just the things we can control, right? The lag and losing this game are things that our student cannot control. So we don't want to play those up or make a big deal out of those. We'll focus on the things we can control. Things we could control this game. Yeah, he's trying to... I think he just needs to restart his app. We'll pull him in here. Yeah, I think restarting the app is the play there. That's there's not much we can do about the lag and that it gave our opponent the game. So we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on on what we did and what happened before we lost control. So before we lost control,
I did not throw the move that we literally talked about before.
True. Also, I was explaining to chat in that particular match. So those are general rules, right? And in that particular matchup, one Sludge Wave won't kill the Dragonite. You'll always have to throw 2 moves. And so it was totally okay that you threw Dark Pulse in that matchup. And that's just me having more knowledge. Like I have knowledge of that matchup that you don't, and now you have it as well. That in the Amok versus Dragonite, you always have to throw 2 moves to kill. So you're better off just going Dark Pulse. I think you played that lead matchup pretty well. I don't know that you needed to shield that second Thunder Punch.
Yeah, my thought was that he wasn't switching out.
Yeah.
So I thought he might have been afraid of Roserade because that was a pretty bad matchup for him. So I thought maybe keep a little bit of health on that Roserade and trust that my Amok safe swap will allow me to eat.
That's fair.
Whatever's in the mid game.
Yeah. And because you were already you were shielding after they'd shielded twice makes it a pretty decent situation. I don't mind it a lot. I was just curious about it because I didn't think a Thunder Punch would be lethal there. And they're probably not going to Focus Blast you. I was going to say their other moves probably Focus Blast on a lead Ampharos. They weren't purified, so it couldn't be returned. So then it's either Focus Blast or potentially Dragon Pulse, but that's pretty rare as well. But I did like the way that you went up to the Sludge Bomb and then threw the Weather Ball. That was good. And you got a shield there. And then you went up to the Sludge Bomb again and threw it, trying to do the big damage, and you got another shield. And then shielding one after that was okay. And then you both blind swapped, essentially.
Yeah.
And then you were in a position to win that game. You were up a shield. Your Muck wins that Dragonite matchup without using that shield. And then you still have a shield, 40% Roserade, 30-something% Amok, and a full Swampert against his Ampharos that's at low health and some other Mon. And you have switch advantage at that point.
I was thinking maybe it was going to be a Swampert. Something that didn't like our Venusaur. Something that didn't like that Roserade.
That's true. Venusaur is a good guess there because his lead is weak to Swampert and ground types. So having his own his Venus a grass type in the back to kill those ground or ground water mud boys is a really, really good theory. I like that one. If you see an Ampharos lead, kind of likely that there's a grass behind it. And Venusaur is kind of the best one in that situation because it has a decent matchup with other Venusaurs, which the Ampharos also struggles with. So it could have been like Ampharos, Dragonite, Venusaur. It's a pretty reasonable guess. But then we lagged out, so we didn't win that one. But I think you were in a position to win, and your decisions were good that time.
Thank you. I thought that was a pretty fun way for the app to kill itself.
This is a pretty neutral matchup, I think, because they have to we get to a Sludge Bomb before they get to Crunch, and we're both doing neutral damage. You can see that we're pretty glassy, and the Dragon Breaths are adding up pretty fast. But this Sludge Bomb does big damage. They shield it. I'd kind of like, I think that was enough for our opponent to be at crunch, so I'd kind of like a shield here and go to another Sludge Bomb. Oh, I don't know if we get to a Sludge Bomb now. We're coming in A-Muck here, because we definitely don't want to bring Swampert down on this. And we want to go for a Sludge Wave, because Dark Pulse will not kill him. This is probably an Aqua Tail. There's no reason for him to throw a crunch here. Aqua Tail, not a big damage move. We can afford to take that. We should go for Sludge Wave here and hope they don't shield. If they shield this Sludge Wave, we're in kind of an awkward spot. We start all Upper Shield and have a Swampert. Their lead is weak to... I mean, they very likely have like their own Swampert in the back. And they're all in on this Gyarados. I think we need to shield this. And hopefully we outpace to the next move. I think a Dark Pulse is probably enough now. I don't think we need a Sludge Wave now that they've farmed. Oh, switch out. Our switch timer's up. Get out, sir. Get out. Get out. Okay. Throwing a move here. I think we needed to save that energy for that Gyarados. I don't know. Our Swampert's going to struggle to kill it. Okay, we farm this down. They're going to throw a move. We need to no-shield this. Good. I like that call. It's going to hurt, but not that bad. We farm down. Throw a move here. Throw a move. Good. 2 Hydro Cannons will kill the Gyarados. EQ here. I think it's 1 EQ plus 1 Hydro. I just don't know that we have enough HP to throw this EQ and a Hydro and get to the Hydro we need against the Gyarados as well. That's a no, we don't. If we'd saved that Sludge Wave... and come in sooner with our... Swampert, we'll get more of a farm situation, and I think we're okay there. Okay, RubiksMoose. What are your thoughts on that one?
I wonder if I played that lead wrong.
Yeah, so what was your decision on the no shield?
I didn't think it was gonna bring. I guess I'm very new to playing Roserade. This is like my 3rd set playing.
Okay,
so
that's fair. That's
so I should really be more conscious of how glassy it is.
Yes, it is very glassy. And so my thinking was if we shielded that one, we get to another Sludge Bomb, and they probably shield again, and then maybe we swap out to the Muck, and then at that point we're up a shield. And the Gyarados is in probably Dark Pulse range.
Yeah, I was thinking that because they were leading Gyarados, they probably didn't have another water. So that's
kind of high risk because Gyarados is really weak to Ampharos. Okay. In this case, they didn't, but oftentimes Gyarados is really weak to Ampharos, and so a lot of times they will have a Swampert.
Swampert in the back, yeah. Okay.
So
okay.
It's not.
It's good that I brought up that assumption.
Yeah.
that tied into why I didn't shield. Is I was by my logic, I was like, there might be a Venusaur and it would be useful, but maybe my Muck could do some damage there as well.
The other decision point I had a question about was when they swapped their Gyarados out after they were on 0 shields. Our switch timer was up because we let our Roserade die, but you stayed in against the Arcanine that was Fire Fanging us when we have a Swampert in the back.
Yeah, that was just a slow swap on my part.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have just gone for the. I threw the energy, but I realized as soon as I did that I should have swapped out first.
Okay, cool. Good that you recognize that. That's definitely one of the things I wanted to point out there. Because if we save that Muck at the 30% it was at, it has and we still have a shield. We have a lot more play against the other 2 Mons that are alive, and also our Swampert. You saw how much damage that Wild Charge did, right? It doesn't do very much, and it takes him 9 Fire Fangs to get to one. So our Swampert would have been in a position where we could have farmed up a lot, been at about half health, but probably had close to 100 energy when the Arcanine died. Farming up, maybe undercharging a Hydro Cannon, which is a little more advanced, or even just farming to 100 and then throwing a Hydro Cannon, then we're still pretty much at an Earthquake, and our Muck still has that extra HP, and we have a shield still. So recognizing that that he's throwing Fire Fangs, our Swampert resists those, and he's generating energy very low, and none of his charge moves are that threatening to our Swampert either. Makes it we can pretty safely like make that swap.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, go ahead and jump into one. Crustle. This is a pretty neutral matchup. We just jump out. I don't mind that. Flygon. So we want to be Dark Pulsing here because it's a ground type. That was really fast. I agree. I think this is just Dragon Claw. Okay. We want to be Dark Pulsing. I think it's 2 Dark Pulses to kill. Okay, we'll go for the Sludge Wave. So he's thinking that this is a dragon like Dragonite and that Sludge Wave is the bigger move. But ground resists poison. So we would want to be throwing Dark Pulses here. Yeah, Diglett Hunter, that matchup, I don't know that matchup either, but I assume it's pretty neutral. The Weather Ball fires are neutral. The Bullet Seeds are neutral. Smackdown hurts, though. Do we survive? Nope. Oh, wait, we do? Throw. Okay. Well, we barely survive on 1 HP to get this Sludge Bomb off. But we're still throwing Sludge Bombs. We get 2 shields. Oh, he swaps the Swampert. Okay, switch times back up. We get the Swampert. We probably want to go for... This is neutral. Hydro probably doesn't kill. 1 EQ probably kills from here, so we're probably a little better off going for an EQ. But it's pretty... Flygon's pretty glassy. This is going to do a pretty reasonable chunk. Just not sure that we kill it before it's to another Dragon Claw. Yeah, we're not. It's going to another Dragon Claw here. 2, 3, 4. They're going to win CMP. This is one of the reasons I generally don't run... Wow, they Stone Edge us. Interesting. 2, 3, 4. Go for the big farm down. We're to shield this dragon. You have to shield this Dragon Claw now. We're 2 invested. All right. We resist Smackdown, so if they bring the Crustle back in, we have time to react and do things. Earthquake is neutral here because Bug resists ground. I think 2 Hydros is the play here. Because Hydro is super effective. Okay, this is an X Scissor. Grass is weak to Bug, but Poison resists it, so it's neutral damage on the X Scissor. But we're glassy, so it hurts. Ooh, Sludge Bomb. Ooh, Sludge Bomb. We're going to get there. We're getting there, chat. It's happening. It's happening. I think that just one-shots. Oh, it doesn't one-shot it? Oh, no. Weather Ball Fire, kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Oh, we're over-farming. It's going to be really close, chat. It's going to be really close. Rosarin carry. Oh, chat. We got to... It's almost at the X Scissor. Oh, we got there. Whew! We got there, chat. RubiksMoose with a win on stream. 120 people watching. We got there. Definitely have a few things to talk about there. It was a win, but there's definitely room for improvement. Welcome in, RubiksMoose. Slayer of Togekisses. Destroyer of Crustles. We got one. What are your thoughts on that game?
One on the W.
What are your thoughts on that game?
I was very happy I saved the Roserade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had any obvious points where I felt I made a mistake.
Okay. What type is Flygon?
It is ground dragon, right?
Okay.
Or flying.
Ground and dragon is correct. Ground resists poison. So you were going up to Sludge Waves and throwing Sludge Waves at the Flygon, where the Flygon is resisting your Sludge Wave. Where Dark Pulse would be neutral. So Also,
yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, and given that Flygon is fairly glassy and resists the Sludge Wave, that's also probably a situation where you probably needed 2 Dark Pulses to kill, kind of like Dragonite. And so you're better off going for the more efficient kill there. But it does resist the poison type. Also, Crustle versus Swampert. Bug resists ground, and Rock is weak to ground, so your Earthquake is neutral. But Rock is weak to water, and Bug doesn't resist it. So Hydro Cannon is actually super effective there. So you're better off in the Crustle matchup. For that. Yeah, in the Crustle matchup, you want to be throwing the Hydro Cannons. I can actually pull it up here real quick. It's probably pretty close on damage, honestly. Even though Earthquake's a much bigger move. Swampert, because of how efficient Hydro Cannon is and the super effective nature. Swampert versus Crustle. EQ is 89 damage. Hydro Cannon's actually more damage. It's 95 damage.
Oh my goodness. And a lot for more
20,
energy efficient.
For 25 less energy, yeah. So we don't... Chat was having a heart attack at the end of that game with that low HP Crustle. And you save everyone in chat having a heart attack if we just Hydro Cannon there.
Sorry, chat.
But we got one. And the play was a lot cleaner that time. We just... the moves and the typings there were a little off. But the play was a lot cleaner. Your switches were good. Your decisions was good. Just knowing the typings and throwing the move that's going to be the most efficient for you.
Yeah, if I had done that, that would have been a much cleaner win.
Yeah. So next time you play that game against that team, cleaner win. All right. Cool. We got time for one more. This is a fairly neutral matchup. We resist the counters. We outpace slightly. I'd still kind of like to see him go up to Sludge Bomb and throw Weather Ball. There we go. I like it. A little awkward if the opponent no shields this, but it allows us to keep outpacing the Machamp, because we do need to shield Rock Slides. Rock Slide will kill us. Please shield the Rock Slide. Oh, they cross-chopped. All right, brave, no shield. I would go for Sludge Bomb. This time I would go for Sludge Bomb, honestly, to force that second shield or kill it. Although the rest of our team doesn't really want to see this either, so I can see why we would, we think maybe we get... Yeah, if we Sludge Bomb there, we're in a good spot. I think he tried to swap out there to his Amok. I think that swapping to Swampert here is a little better. But I would not be swapping out here. Got a little bit of a lag there. I think that sounded like him switching anyway. Yep. And he's going to take a beating from this Machamp that wasn't, I don't think, necessary. And he swaps out. Dragon Breath Charizard? We overfarmed several Snarls, and now we're in a position where we have to shield. And then our opponent's going to farm us down after they shield our move, probably. So that's pretty awkward. Because I don't think we get to another Sludge Wave. We might get to another Dark Pulse here, but not a Sludge Wave. Okay. Clicks on the Dark Pulse, that's good. We didn't lose the energy. But even in this matchup, Swampert is going to struggle to like farm down a Charizard. But that's kind of where we're at. Dale Hunter, maybe. That's a tough call because the Sludge Wave actually probably like that Charizard's dead now. Oh, we got CMP'd. The Machamp's just gonna punch us down. Machamp's just gonna punch us down. He still has a third Mon. We need to be. Oh, switch. There we go. Okay, I don't mind that. Store to move. Can we get? I'm curious if the opponent's switch timer was up earlier and they late swapped that, or if they legitimately weren't there yet. Because if we could have gotten that switch like instantly and gotten another couple bullet seeds there, I think we get to a Sludge Bomb. Although we saw earlier that doesn't kill from this HP anyways, right? It does like 90% to the Togekiss. And we don't have 10% of damage there yet. So it was a tough one. Welcome back, RubiksMoose. What are your thoughts on that game?
Lots of people saw what you did out
Well,
there.
I definitely clicked that.
Right now.
I definitely was trying to throw that sludge move on Muck, and I wonder if I didn't hit that bug because it was not throwing it.
The sludge move on Muck? I saw you throw one and they shielded it, and then you didn't.
Wait.
On what?
I had to shield their charge move.
Oh,
but I had a
okay.
charge move already charged.
You tried to tap before that? Okay, that,
Yeah, I
that
was
makes sense.
tapping.
Because
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, we over-farmed again and had to shield. But that, if you were in the situation where it was not letting you press the charge move, that makes more sense. And that's outside our control and unfortunate. I was curious why you swapped out of the lead matchup.
I, for some reason, thought that Muck would be able to take care of the Machamp more readily.
Okay. Because Machamp, with the counters, is doing neutral damage to Muck, and your Snarls are resistant. And the Snarls are really low damage, so it's like you can't really Snarl it down. And the Machamp gets to cross chop in 10 turns, and it takes you at least 12 to get to Dark Pulse. So like you're always going to take a beating there, making that swap. Let's go. I'm going to pull up the 2 shield, going straight Weather Ball against a Machamp. Put that on stream because I don't know either, but I had a feeling that you could win that matchup. Yeah, so you can win that Machamp matchup just going straight Weather Ball if you 2 shield. You no shield the first one. I had a little bit of heart attack there. If that was a Rock Slide, your Roserade was dead, and that Machamp was gonna like kill your whole team. Like honestly, it was gonna kill your whole team if that was a Rock Slide. So I'd rather you shield against the Machamp there.
Yeah,
it was a big call, and it worked out for you this time, but it was very high risk. Like you're risking the game to save a shield. So given like understanding that the stakes there, and that nothing in the back of your line has a good matchup with the Machamp, I would shield that. And stream can see like if you just go straight Weather Ball, you get to the 4th Weather Ball before they can get to a Rock Slide. It's like you throw a Weather Ball, if they cross trap at you, you throw a Weather Ball, they cross trap at you. You get to 2 more Weather Balls before they can get to a Rock Slide. They can hit you with a cross trap and put you low, but if you just go straight Weather Ball, you can always win that matchup. I'm curious if I, instead of Weather Balling twice, if I give myself back Sludge Bomb. Because I think it'll be a little more efficient if you Bullet Seed, Fly. You get to the Sludge Bomb right there. Yeah, so you can... Sludge Bomb? Is that KO? Is this a Shadow Champ? This is normal Champ. Shadow Champ. Update. Yeah, so you'll get to Weather Ball, Sludge Bomb before they even get to a 3rd move. So after they shield the first 2, you can just go for a Sludge Bomb and you'll kill them. And you'll still have 37-ish health left.
Okay.
And if they no shield any of the Weather Balls, you can still shield twice. Let me run it again against Shadow. Looks against Shadow, looks like maybe they actually kill you if they... Yeah, the cross trap kill. So you can't, if they no shielded a Weather Ball, you're gonna lose the matchup. Because the Shadow bonus damage, you'll be able to see this later after I save the VOD and send it to you. But like, I've got it pulled up. If they no shield a Weather Ball, the Weather Ball only does 69 damage. Nice. And that is not quite enough to kill them, and they get to a 3rd cross chop that kills you. But you would get, if they shield 2 Weather Balls, you can throw a Sludge Bomb before they get to the cross chop, the 3rd cross chop.
Okay.
So you can, if they, in that case, they shielded twice, you can afford to Weather Ball, Sludge Bomb. If they no shielded one of the Weather Balls, you're going to lose the matchup, but it's going to be really close, and they have to throw a move to kill you, and then your Swampert probably can farm them down before they get to another cross chop. That's, if I go back, that's the situation there at 13 HP. Continue battling, and I pull in a Swampert here. Just want to make sure they can't, I don't think they can get to a... Yeah, they're gonna get 4 counters in on you, and so you'll get 4 mud shots, and so you'll have a Swampert that's taken 4 counters, a little bit of a hit on health, but that's a pretty good energy lead, and there's no shields left in the game then. So Swampert up energy in a no shield situation, pretty threatening. So much information, Rubik's head's about to explode, something like that. But he'll have lots of time to digest it.
Exactly.
We're going to save this. Thank you, RubiksMoose, for coming on today. Thank you, Matt Beer, for gifting this coaching session to RubiksMoose.
Thank you and Matt for all of this. It was wonderful and very helpful.
You're welcome. And thank you, chat, for coming in and hanging out with us during a coaching session today. I know it's a
Sorry, I can give you guys more wins.
Change of pace. You gave them lots of opportunities to learn, and that's kind of what we're about here. We're about learning and growing as battlers in a positive learning environment, and felt like we did a good job of that today, even though it was a rough day on today's rating. I think that overall it'll be a net increase on the season's rating. I'd like to thank you for joining us today in the dojo. If you value these coaching VODs, you can give this video a like, you can subscribe to my channel, or you can leave some feedback below in the comments. Also, in the description are links to my Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me there for additional content. I live stream on Twitch Monday through Friday starting at noon Pacific. I would love to have you join us there so we can learn and grow together.